session. Beautifully into knowledge, world of knowledge, I believe. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move towards our next session just instantly after this. We're going to request you to stay in your seats. We're looking forward to a very, very, very interesting session. So, please be there. And, of course, thank you everyone for joining in here. Whoa, thank you. Thank you for the nod and the smile and everything. All right, by the way, honestly speaking, it gives me a little different vibe today because it's a different experience for me altogether. And I think as the session prolongs, I probably let the feeling sink in. So it's a great feeling because we are here talking about consumer experiences, and the gentleman who's going to be sharing his insights is the one who's probably spent his life on making sure that an experience for a consumer is just out of the world, no matter who the consumer is. I would have been greatly overjoyed and filled with glee to introduce him, but I think someone more worthy is none other than our convener, Mr. Nirav Bhansali. Over to you, sir, to do this marvelous introduction.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my honor and privilege to introduce an iconic leader whose journey is a testament to vision, dedication, and purpose, Mr. B.S. Nagesh. Mr. Nagesh is the founder of Train, a not-for-profit organization committed to empowering people in retail by enhancing their lives both at work and at home. His belief in uplifting the retail community has positively impacted countless individuals across the industry. Starting as the first employee of Shoppers Stop in 1991, Mr. Nagesh played a pivotal role in shaping it into India's leading department store, now with 249 stores nationwide. Currently serving as the non-executive chairman, his legacy continues to inspire one and all. In 2009, he transitioned from earning to giving back by establishing Terrain, driven by his personal philosophy of 25 years of learning, earning, and returning. Mr. Nagesh's achievements are remarkable. He was the first Asian retailer inducted in the prestigious World Retail Hall of Fame in 2008 and has received the accolades like the Helen Keller Award for creating livelihoods for persons with disabilities. He is also an Ashoka Fellow and recently added the title of author to his repertoire with his book, Serve, published in December 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a true trailblazer and inspiration in the retail world, Mr. B.S. Nagesh. Thank you.
Nirav sir, I'm going to ask you a question. Would you agree with me if I say that our country is blessed with one of the most beautiful cultures? You would? Okay, then in that case, there's one very beautiful thing we do in our culture is we felicitate very differently. Yeah, and we have a little surprise felicitation which we will have you do to sir, and it comes from this side. That's a Puneri Pagdi, and the head that wears it is considered to be high on intellect. And I think, BSN sir, you totally deserve this. So, thank you, Mr. Prabhakar, for bringing this beautiful idea out. And we'll have you all get together there and let this session go ahead. Joining you would be Ritu ma'am, of course, and I think we would be delighted to mention that she is the co-author of the book. And other than just that, I think she is just the right person to tell us what Sir would like to convey. So both of you together are today going to do this marvelous job of conveying to this industry, which is one of the best industries we have. And Nirav sir is smiling all the way because he knows the best is yet to come. So all yours, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Bowl. Am I supposed to put it down? Okay. I didn't see this coming at all. So I'm a little nervous and I'm just as excited to speak about none other than B.S. Nagesh. It's been an honor, a privilege, and truly a blessing to co-author with Nagesh for his book Serve Business from the Heart. And what I'd like to say about the book is it's anything but a business book. It's about people, it's about building communities, it's about how one thinks more than themselves, and it's about beyond business and life. Thank you.
Ma'am, we're going to request you to stay there because we're going to unveil the book. So, right there. Everyone gets to see the book, and of course, we'd like to inform everyone in the room that it contains everything but the best and the best and the best. And along with that, we have 5 lucky winners who would probably win a signed copy of this book today. So we don't know who those lucky winners are going to be. But yes, we are talking about a beautiful book, and the speaker on stage is the one who's the author and the co-author right here. Anil sir, I'm going to request you to please join them there. This is your initiative. Without you, I don't think we would have been even holding on to one of these. So thank you so much for initiating this. So the mic is right there.
Mr. Shailesh Sangani, please join us on the stage. Richa and Colin Bhai. Where is Colin Bhai? He's not around? Okay, no problem. So before we do the formal unveiling, I would like to say that behind every successful author, there is a co-author, and that's Ritu. This man took 10 years to think, "Arey, aaj likhta hu, kal likhta hu." But once he collaborated with Ritu, the book was out in 18 months. So give her a big hand.
Pen also. I'm going to take his sign on my phone. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Table here, no? नहीं नहीं टेबल है
Nirav and Aya.
All right. I have always maintained that if you want to survive in life, you need food, clothing, and shelter. But if you want to prosper in life, you want to thrive in life, grow as an individual, please embrace books. रोटी, कपड़ा और मकान तो है ही है, उसके साथ किताब भी जोड़ लीजिए, आपकी रोज़ाना ज़िंदगी में आपकी जो प्रगति होगी उसको मैं बयान नहीं कर सकता हूँ. मैं बचपन से पढ़ता आ रहा हूँ, इसीलिए कह रहा हूँ. तो नागेश, reading this book took me down memory lane. I remembered all the things that we have done together. I've been associated with you and Shopper Stop as a consumer, as a brand associate, as an industry analyst, and as a journalist. So while reading this book, I thought of that song, Kishore Kumar song, कोई लौटा दे मेरे बीते हुए दिन वो मेरे प्यारे पल छिन. Thank you for making me feel young again. So, in the book, you have mentioned that your mother wanted you to earn a doctorate. Well, you have fulfilled her wish because this is nothing short of a PhD thesis. And when I say PhD thesis, nobody reads PhD thesis. It's very boring. This is a fantastic story. Everybody will relate to it. Not many books on retail have been published in India, 2-3 books. And I think everybody should read it. It is going to be a bestseller. I'm confident about it. So I'll share a very interesting anecdote with you. I came to Crossword Jew store. We were busy talking to people. So I was browsing through book. And I picked up one book. The title of the book is Jia Jale, Stories of Songs. It's a conversation between Gulzar Saab and Nasreen Munni Kabir. So in this book, he has used Urdu because he's very familiar with Urdu and Hindi. So he said that it's a different feeling altogether to be a published author. I said, you already earned a doctorate. उनकी किताब में उन्होंने लिखा है कि जब इंसान पहली बार किताब लिखता है तो उसे उर्दू में कहा जाता है साहिबे किताब. साहिबे किताब डॉक्टर बीएस नागेश.
क्या बात है, क्या बात है.
ओके, तो अब गुलजार साहब का जिक्र तो हो ही गया है. कैन यू प्ले दैट वीडियो प्लीज?
ओह वाओ.
हेलो. उनको देखने की जरूरत नहीं, उनको पता है. ऑडियो ऑडियो. हाँ, इट्स एन एंथम.
सब करते हैं औरों के लिए कुछ करो. Thank you.
So before I invite you to comment on the story behind this anthem, I had the fortune of working with Gulzar Saab on a few projects, and he knows me, like Nagesh knows me, Gulzar also knows me. So on one particular occasion, this anthem was released, I think 11 or 12 years ago.
2005.
Huh. So Govind Srikhande had shared the audio clip with me. So I am a frequent visitor to Prithvi Theatre and Cafe. So Gulzar Saab spotted me, "Arey, aao, baitho, baitho." So we sat there, and Vishal Bharadwaj came. Gulzar Saab was in a very good mood. So he told Vishal, "अरे विशाल, तेरी फिल्मों के गाने तो पॉपुलर है ही, लेकिन मेरे लिखे हुए गाने दुकानों में बजते हैं." तो आई सेड, "आप शॉपर स्टॉप की बात कर रहे हैं?" "अरे, आप तो अपडेटेड हो, आपको तो सब पता है." तो देन आई सेड, "आजकल के बच्चे इसको स्टॉकिंग कहते हैं." So there are not many companies which have anthems, specially written for them. But I can tell you that there is this beautiful song which is from Guddi. Jignesh bhai, what is that song? Can you tell us? Which you play every day in the morning?
Check. Check.
हमको मन की शांति
हाँ, हमको मन की शक्ति देना, मन विजय करे, दूसरों की जय से पहले खुद की जय करें. So it's a kind of prayer because the singer is addressing to the Almighty. Among other people, Jignesh bhai plays it every day as a prayer.
Wow.
But ये national anthem, not a national anthem, ये anthem लिखवाना, ये अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है. So with these words, tell us the story behind how this idea came about.
See, 2005 when we actually took the company public and we started growing and we had thousands and thousands of associates who were working with us and other thousands who were actually working with our partners inside the store. We were actually thinking how to unite this whole thing. See, because at the end of the day, we think we are selling apparel, you think you are selling jewelry, but actually we are neither selling apparel or not jewelry. We are selling happiness in some way or the other. But if your employees are not happy and they are not committed, or your colleagues are not committed, you can't do anything. So we are trying to see a binding force because as CEO, owners, founders, you can't go to every store, which is right from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. So we wanted to see if there's a binding force, and it's almost like a commitment to customer service. And that's where when I was talking to Sheetal that time and we said, can we look at something which can really build it up? She said, why not meet Gulzar Saab? So we met him and I said, this is what I want. And he says, meet me tomorrow. We went and met him the next day. He had this, he captured it so beautifully. हद से आगे भी एक हद है, इतनी सी बात पे गौर करो. अपने लिए सब करते हैं, औरों के लिए कुछ और करो. And in this case, the Oro is our customer. As simple as that. And then we thought just having this anthem and being read is not good enough. So the team met Ram Sampath, and Ram Sampath said the best person to sing this Sonu Nigam, and he agreed. So actually you see this song is sung by Sonu Nigam, composed by Ram Sampath, written by Gulzar ji, and it's sung every day at 10:45 across our company. So roughly about 15,000 people sing it across. The question is, Anil, if you're committing in the morning to say, "Had se aage bhi ek had hai," then how can you not serve a customer? And when you keep reinforcing things in the mind of yourself, then you get more and more committed. So this anthem is a binding force for our commitment to customer service across. And this has really helped us. It's now 19 years since we are actually playing this. And it's been a fabulous thing. We don't play this in public because we don't have rights to play this in public. You can play, so it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So taking our conversation further, I recently read a very interesting book. The name of the book is Mentor Morphosis. It is written by Akash Khurana, Dr. Akash Khurana. He's a very well-known actor. He's also an engineer and he is PhD in human resources. So in the book he says that a mentor is anybody who inspires you to take action. You learn from him. So in this context, I would like to say with some kind of pride that you are my mentor. See, Nagesh is such a fantastic speaker that when he gives a presentation, he interacts with the audience. It is like listening to a solo concert. And when he is in a conversation, it is like a kawali ka mukabla. Because I have witnessed it so many times when he engages in a conversation with somebody like Kishore Biani. My goodness. He captivates the audience. So I think I'm not as good as a conversationalist as Kishore Biani, but we hope that going forward, he will definitely enlighten us. So now coming to the main point, who has been your mentor? You have mentioned about your team
Anil,
members and everything.
I don't have a single mentor
Okay?
because in your journey you learn at every moment. So for me, every moment has been a learning from me. Early years, I think my mentor, my guide from whom I learned without he teaching me was my father. Okay, just observing him and looking at things that he does with his own capabilities was a big inspiration for me. Then I had a boss. Actually, he's the one who got me into Shoppers. So I left his company to join Shoppers. He only suggested. Okay, I think that's a great mentor and guide because a good mentor is one who allows the person to grow beyond himself. You know, we have this strange situation in business that we want to be exclusive, hold everything. And I must share this. When I started Train in 2011, I went and met a lot of retailers. And I said, we are starting a course. We want to ensure that all the retail employees are more educated, more skilled so that they can grow in life. I was on the linking road talking to people. You know what one of the retailers told me? सर आप इनको पढ़ाओगे लिखाओगे तो ये सर पर चढ़ जाएंगे किसी और दुकान में चले जाएंगे हमारा लॉस होगा मैं क्यों पढ़ाऊं This is a statement I am telling you which I heard from a retailer. Now that's not the way things can happen. So here was my boss who actually helped me grow in life and I'm indebted to him. And then every person I've met, I've learned something from Mr. Kamas, something from Mr. Narayan Murthy, something from Anand Mahindra. So these are people I may not have met many times, but you read what they are saying. And a mentorship is good, a guide is good when you can adopt something and apply in your day-to-day behavior. Otherwise, it's a very fashionable to say, I have the following mentor. I mean, a lot of people meet me and say, no, I have 50,000 followers on LinkedIn. Okay, if you go to the 49,000 followers and say, isse kya seekha, uska kaun, kya, because it's become more fashionable, but that's not it is. For me, my biggest mentor, guide has been my own self in the mirror. When you face challenging times, and you are at the top of a helm of affairs, and you don't know where to go. Because you can go to a mentor and talk to him about one subject. You can't talk to him everything. I mean, those moments, and I've had tough moments in Shoppers. Last 25, 30 years, there have been upsides and downsides. I would go stand in front of the mirror, fight with the mirror image of Nagesh and say, how can we come out? And it really helped me. So I would say, combination of mentors who have helped me.
Yeah, I agree with you. And classic example of mentor and mentee relationship. See, Dronacharya and Eklavya, he did not formally teach Eklavya, but still he considered as a mentor. So in your book, you have made a fond mention of Bhaskar Bhatt and Titan. So obviously you learned something from Bhaskar and you learned something from Titan. So, and I'm broaching the subject of Titan because Titan is one of the largest jewelry brands. So please share your views.
Yeah, so see, to me, I'll tell you, I've learned many things from Titan. Okay, but one of the things that I think they're very good at is capturing opportunity. So a lot of people tell me, Titan got into from watches to jewelry. Now they have got into saris. They've got into. So I was thinking, what is it they've got into? You know what they've got into? They have found out which is the most complicated product in the most unorganized segment of the country. They've just got into that one insight. So it's not about saris. It's about unorganized sector and complicated sourcing because they are very good at uncomplicating the whole sourcing thing for themselves. And look at what they have done with Tanishq. I mean, they are so big. Bhaskar Bhatt, extremely committed. And I must share this with you all. I think in 2012, we had an award in Bangalore. The Train Retail Award that we do every year. And Bhaskar Bhatt was our chief guest. Yeah? And he was in his Hosur factory. And he got stuck. And I called him. I said, Bhaskar, in the next 20 minutes, we're going to have you to come on stage. He says, I'm 20 minutes away. And he came in and he was all dressed up. And I said, is this the way you go to factory to dress? Not for audience or public consumption. He said, I changed in the car. And my driver tells me, "Saab, aap kya karte ho gaadi mein?" But I'm just saying, somebody to be at that helm of affair, somebody who's so committed, somebody who is built, but also sees life in a very, very different way. Yeah? So there's been tremendous learning. I have also seen there another business where for them people is very critical. See, unless you are a strong believer of people, you can't run a business. Because you have people in suppliers, people in customers, and people in vendors, and people in your own organization. So I think Titan has done a fabulous job. If you look at the industry statistics in terms of attrition, I think they are the lowest. If you look at the industry statistics in terms of customer satisfaction, they are amongst the highest. Very difficult to have employee satisfaction and customer satisfaction. I don't know about the vendor partners. It's amazing. No? It takes a lot of things to build. So right from Xerxes to Bhaskar to now Venkat to Biju in between, I think they've built a fabulous organization. There's a lot to learn from them,
So leadership and mentorship are two sides of the same coin. On a lighter note, I have read your book, so I'll ask you pointed questions. किस तरह के लीडर हो आप? How do you describe your leadership? एक तरफ तो आप टीम को टारगेट दे देते हो और टारगेट अचीव करने के बाद क्या खिलाते हो? आइसक्रीम खिलाते हो. फिर अकाउंटेंट को बोलते हैं झाड़ू मार और आप खुद भी झाड़ू मारते हो. एमबीए जो टॉप मोस्ट इंस्टीट्यूट से मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनिंग करके आता है उसको टॉयलेट साफ करवाते हैं. फिर उनका जो बंदा है जो हेड ऑफ ऑपरेशंस उसको बोलते हैं तेरे को कितना टारगेट दिया है? 5 दुकान खोलना है, 10 दुकान खोल, सेम पीरियड और कॉस्ट शुड कम डाउन बाय 30-35%. मतलब क्या है ये? हाउ वुड यू डिस्क्राइब दिस ऑल दिस?
Anil, you are calling me a leader. I have never said I'm a leader.
अच्छा.
Yeah, because honestly, the moment you think I'm a leader, then you start leading. Because leaders don't lead. Okay, they make people lead and then you are part of the team.
Okay.
I'll give you a very nice example which Sadhguru keeps talking about. We were talking about leadership and vision. So he said, Nagesh, a leader is one who's sitting on the top of the tree. He's on the perch, topmost perch. He sees things which people below cannot see. Okay? If he is able to create that vision and drive, rest of the things happen because people want to do things and they are motivated. So अगर आप ये 4-5 एग्जाम्पल की बात करो उसमें लीडरशिप कम है, ओनरशिप ज़्यादा है. ओके, मेरी दुकान है, हम 12 लोग आज पहले दिन कंपनी में ज्वाइन किए हैं, यहाँ बैठ के मीटिंग करना है, हमारा डस्ट है, तो अगर हम लोग साफ नहीं करेंगे तो कौन आएगा साफ करने? फेयर ना? एंड आई कीप कोटिंग दिस एग्जाम्पल फ्रॉम द फैमिली, फ्रॉम मदर्स एंड वाइफ्स. ओके, इन अ सिमिलर सिचुएशन अगर उस दिन बाई काम करने नहीं आई है तो यू थिंक योर मदर और वाइफ वुड हैव मेड यू सिट ऑन अ डस्टी place? No, she would have cleaned it. So there's nothing wrong about it. The reason why I put the management trainee to go into the toilet cleaning, housekeeping, security, was I see in retail you're working on the ground. You're asking a person whom you're paying a 15,000 salary to sell a 15 crore jewelry. There's no way you will ever take him to a situation where he or she can afford a 5 lakh jewelry. But can you be humane enough to give that status to the person as a human being? I think that's important. So for me, if you are in retail and you can't connect to the front-end associate, because you are no way you can be a leader or a CEO. So the reason why we put these people to go through this was just to say, boss, you should be able to relate to a housekeeping person, a security guard, because what they do, okay, nobody else can do. And this is very important. So part of this, and I think that's the way things happen for us. And all of them are now CEOs. I mean, Skechers CEO, Kaya CEO, all of them are same people. I think I mentioned in the book, they all came, the 12 of them in the first batch, they came after, I think, 2 weeks and said, we don't want to work and we don't want to be part of the program. Because when we go and tell our parents कि आज क्या किया, वो बोलते हैं टॉयलेट क्लीनिंग में लगा हुआ था. तो मदर आज की MBA करने के बाद में तुमको शॉपर स्टॉप में टॉयलेट क्लीन करा रहे हैं, तो we don't want to work. So I said, fair, please go. There were 12 of them. And none of them went. And after 1 year when the program got over and we were giving certificates, I asked them, tell me the first training that you really liked. And they said it was this. I mean, it brought in humility, brought in humbleness, brought in the way to ground it. And that's what required. MBA schools don't teach this, unfortunately.
ये मेरा काम नहीं है. Don't ever utter this sentence if you are in retail, right?
And I keep saying, इसके लिए you don't have to be MBA. Just remember your mother and your wife. I have never heard my mother or my wife ever say, ये मेरा काम नहीं है.
Nirav,
That's it.
I would like to ask your views on leadership, mentorship, and you also should grill him, no? Please.
First he calls me Nagesh, then he calls me a leader, and then he says, you are the chicken, grill him.
So you don't call yourself a leader, but for us, I think I have seen you, I have seen your journey, and I think you are a great leader. The way you have set up this whole shopper stop thing, the first organized retail departmental store in the country. I don't think anything we had like this before. And we used to always go, we used to travel, I used to travel from Malabar Hill to your Andheri store to visit that. So I think you have really done a great job. But one question I would like to ask you is that in this journey, I've seen Shopper Stop is a listed company also, and we are seeing that there are many ups and downs, and you have faced many challenging times. So how do you face that? Like, what happens when there are really difficult things and you don't know what to do, or the competition is at your heels, or profitability is not there, growth is not coming? How do you handle that situation?
You know, I have mentioned, in fact, probably this will be one of the few books where we have dedicated chapter to failures. Yeah, because failures are outcomes which people call it as failures. But these are actually trials and experiments that you do in life. All of us do. It's just when you see the results compared to the outcome, you call it a success or failure. As far as I am concerned, I see each one of them as a situation. It's just a situation. Yeah. Now, this is a situation. I'm sitting with you. This guy has not given me any list of questions he's going to ask. Okay, I don't know whether he's going to elevate me or put me down. Okay, and now he's saying I'm going to grill you. Okay, it's a situation.
I'm asking him to grill you.
Okay, that's a clever guy. Huh? Grilling aap karo, tali main bajata hu.
He had given me that list from before.
So it's a situation. So Nirav, to me, I mean, you need to be in the situation and handle the situation. The problem is that we start looking at the outcome of the situation before the situation. Okay? अभी आग लग गया. I'm using an extreme example. तो दो चीज कर सकते हो आप. या तो ये सोचो कि इस आग लगने से मेरा कितना नुकसान होगा, या ये सोचो कि आग बुझाने के लिए मुझे क्या करना है. I think that's the way I look at things. When you have these kind of situations, my whole thing is how can I solve? So this whole approach that I learned from my father very early, and what I have seen is look for solutions, problems go away. Okay, if you start looking at the outcome of the problems, then problems keep becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. So each of the challenge that we faced in Shoppers, when we started the first 5 years, there was nothing in the industry, nothing. I mean, nobody was willing to join me because they said, you're not a Kachi, you're not a Marwadi, you're wearing a suit, your promoters are builders, how can you run a retail in Mumbai? Which is reality. I mean, if these 5 things are not there, you can't. And then they said you're wearing a suit and tie. So you start from there, and then you have an organization with 15,000 people. It's just because every situation has been a situation which I wanted to get in and see how to solve it. Outcome may be a success or a failure, but it is defined by somebody else. Because somebody else sets the expectations. The moment you start setting up the expectation, there is a problem. Now on the 19th, there is a marathon. Yeah? I've been running for the last few years. The moment I say I have to hit a time, I have a problem. My doctor says you're not supposed to run. I'm saying I'll run the marathon. I mean, somebody is telling me you hit it in such and such time is their expectation. My expectation is I want to participate. That's it. So look at a situation and participate in it. I think success, most of the time you will get success.
But this answer is a little more theoretical. What we want to know is actual life examples. Please tell us some challenges that you faced and how you overcame that. There are shareholders, there are your investors, builders, owners.
So let me interrupt here a little bit. I'll put it into context because I have read your book. See, Shoppers Stop corporatized retail in India. So what do we see in a corporate setup? We see 2 types of people, number crunchers and storytellers. Storytellers build and number crunchers analyze. So it is synthesis and analysis. From what I gather about you, you have been synthesizing, putting up things, building brands, building companies, building operations. Whereas a job of an analyst is say, "Arey ye nahi chalega, wo nahi chalega, isko kam karo, isko ye karo." So how do and I also gather that in the initial stages, you're a little uncomfortable with numbers and operations because you did not have a previous background. So how did you juggle these 2 things? Because creativity and commerce both are important. You can't just say that मैं तो भाई कहानी बताऊंगा और सेल होता है तो होने दो. So why I am asking this, because then you can relate to his question and give us a concrete example.
So let me give you multiple examples. This will actually come through it. Let me talk to you about the earliest example. Because my dream was to create something which is the best in the country, okay? And I said we will learn from the biggest in the world. So when we did the second store and the third store, we realized that we will not be able to run without technology. The first store was okay. I used to have huge printed, dot matrix printed stationery, and we used to look at things like that. So I went around the world and looked for a solution. We found out two solutions, Retech and JDA. And when I met at Retech, he says, how big are you? We said we are 28 crores. By that, they said some $3-4 million. He said less than $10 million, we don't. Then I went JDA, they said, we don't mind giving it to you, but we don't have an office in India, so you'll have to bear every cost. So I said, yeah, I'll bear every cost. So they came in, we gave them office space, we gave them boarding, lodging, ticketing, and we made them implement the system for us. Now you may say, where was the need for this? I mean, you could have easily got some system locally. Infosys was existing, Wipro was existing, but no, they were not the best in this subject, yeah? We went to implement this, and we failed in the implementation. For 1 year we had, he was there, yeah? For 1 year we had no clue of our inventory, no clue, yeah? At the end of the year, okay, we realized that we are down 26 crores loss. We were a very small company, yeah? And I had just gone and taken private equity in 1998. Two things happened. I got a call from an article in Business Today which said, has India's largest department store failed? And the starting line was that we see 2 strains of white hair on Mr. Nagesh's head. Looks like that he is aging. Okay? I was 34. Yeah? So I got a call from our Jaipur store manager, and he said, how can a journalist write the death knell for our company? So I said, what should we do, Rao? He says, sir, we should do something about it. So I went back to the team and said, hey guys, can we convert this 26 crores loss next year into 1 rupee profit? Huge task, okay? And then we said, let's do it. So 1st of March of the coming year, Salil Nair, Govind Shikhande, they all met me and they said, we will not be able to achieve the 1 rupee profit. So we have, as a team, the leadership had decided we will not take salary for the month of March. Yeah? And if we don't take the salary, we will make 1 lakh profit. So I said, let's do that. Let's do something with our customers. And if you don't achieve, let it be the last resolution. I will also not take my salary. But this was their suggestion, not my suggestion. So we wrote to our customers to say, here is a 100 rupee gift voucher, no question asked. We sent it to 10,000 people. And you'll be surprised, we had 13% conversion. You know, because the board asked me saying 100 rupee, if 10,000 people come and spend 100 rupee, what a huge loss, over and over the loss. We actually ended up making 1 lakh profit for the year. All of us took salary home. Now you tell me now, where is the management lesson in this? This is simple human behavior. This is simple ownership. Okay, and this is not what Mr. Raheja said, who is the owner of the company. This is me as the employee of the company. This is Govind Salil as the employee of the company. But this is ownership behavior. So when you ask me saying, this is theoretical, no, this is reality. So what you have, and I can tell you your example, jewelry industry example. Multiple things. You have a customer who's come to buy 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. Okay, the whole company, including the owner, attends. It so happened that the same customer has come to return. Send it in that corner and say, "Udhar leke jao." Why? Just because we say no. You have a problem. The immediate thing is manager ko bulao, owner ko bulao. Arey, when you're asking an employee to sell something worth 15 lakhs, empower him to handle that customer for 15 lakhs. So to me, if there's a way you can transfer ownership across the organization, okay, and ownership is not shareholding. I keep telling everybody thinks aaj ke zamane ownership is ESOP or you have lots of shares, you are very wealthy. No, ownership is just about owning the situation. Okay, and I can give you 1,000 examples of this situation. The one which I always give, which is amazing for me, is a great lesson for me, is we had a gentleman called Parmar, who used to be a lift man in Andheri store. Okay, he had only one hand, other hand was amputated. I entered the lift on one day and said, Parmar, kaise ho? He said, sir, main to acha hu, par aaj sale acha nahi hai. Lift man, 4x4 का lift है अंधेरी में, छोटा सा lift है. I said, Parmar, क्या हो गया? He said, sir, आप लोग समझते हो मैं लिफ्ट वाला हूँ. Every customer who enters, I mentally count the customer. I know how many customers have gone into every floor. Every time they come back, I know how many are carrying bag. तो आप रात को पूछोगे तो मैं आपको बोल सकता हूँ कि 100 कस्टमर आए और 30 बैग लेके गए. Lift man at that time earning salary of 1,200 rupees. Now look at his ownership of the company. If you ask the store manager what is your sale, the guy will go and look into his thing. Now, that is ownership. So to me, Anil, in the business is how can you create ownership at every level? I'm not saying shareholding. Ownership at every level. It makes a huge difference. And there are hundreds of examples that I can give. They are real. Okay, it looks fairly theoretical because we are looking at structured answers to major problems. No, there are very simple answers to major problems. And simple answers are lying between you and me and just around you. And you can actually look at it. You give me a challenge or a situation, I'll tell you where the answer is without knowing your business. Because it is there, it's there with people.
So we'll come to the main topic now.
Well,
So I will.
I would just like
Yeah.
to ask
Okay,
one more
please,
question.
please.
But like you said, ownership, it's a great point and it's amazing. But how do you build ownership?
Oh, it's very simple. Okay, you build ownership by respect, giving respect to the individual, empowering the person. Empower the person, okay. And I'll give an example for this, okay. And the third is to let go. The problem with us who are leaders is we don't like to let go. Forget outside. Father doesn't want to let go to his son. When I meet people, youngsters, he's laughing. Huh? He's your son?
Yes.
Ah. He's smiling. I didn't. I have met children who say, my father doesn't want me to do this because he thinks this is the right way, which is 30 years old. Okay, father is 60, my customer is 25, I am 30, my father thinks he knows 25 better than me. This is a problem. So let go is a very important part of it. Now, empowerment. I'll give you an example of when you empower, what really happens. So during COVID, one of my board members, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Kamath, they had their daughter's wedding, and this wedding happened in US. And because in COVID, they couldn't travel. But they wanted there to be an Indian wedding, and they wanted to send a Mangal Sutra. Yeah? Now, everything was closed. So somebody told him there's an employee who works in Titan, in Kanishk. He gave the number. They called up and said, this is the situation. He said, ma'am, आप चिंता मत करो, कल शाम को मैं आपके पास 3 मंगलसूत्र लेके आता हूँ, उसमें एक सेलेक्ट कर लो. कोविड के टाइम में उसने क्या किया पता नहीं. कोविड के टाइम में the guy has gone, taken permission, God knows what he has done, but he got 3 mangalsutra. She selected one, the same thing was couriered, and in US the children got married using a mangalsutra and they witnessed it on the video. Now please tell me, isn't that ownership? Isn't it? Now I'll give you one more example during COVID. COVID में आपके घर में खाना बना था? यहाँ कोई ऐसा है जिसके घर पे कोविड में खाना नहीं बना? Not one. India is probably the only country where we didn't have a single riot because of food. You know why? Because 8 million kiranas or their employees were working. हम घर के अंदर बैठे थे और खिड़की में झरोके में से हम लोग we were asking for food. But that guy was walking the street. Now that is ownership. The kiranas took the ownership of your life sitting in their shop. Now to me that is ownership. So how do you create this ownership? Empower them and respect them, it automatically happens. The moment we doubt them, there is a problem. So it's not very complicated. I can tell you I have seen this in multiple situations. And I can give you hundreds of examples on this.
So I'll frame the question.
Check. Hello, check. So I'm a live example of having this kind of ownership. So basically, when I worked with Shoppers Stop Limited, I was part of the customer care department, which is honestly a position given after certain years of experience, but probably I was fortunate enough to get it within a few months. Now, when you people come into the store, we have got brands from across the world. We sold the best brands from across the world, and I'm talking about the days when we had no malls in Mumbai city. So I'm talking about Mother Store, which is Andheri, we used to call it Mother Store. And at the customer service department, we had someone who came in with a Theva necklace, a Rupa Vora Theva necklace. Sorry to mention a brand name like this, but I just want to share the experience basically, so no hard feelings to anybody. So it's a 24 karat gold, and our product knowledge taught us that ये one of a kind jewelry piece है where the gold is so soft and so pure, hence it needs that base to create that kind of a necklace. So that is what was taught to us in those days when we didn't really know anything about jewelry. Now the customer came in saying that I picked this piece from here and this earring is damaged. So when it came to my counter, and it was in a pretty expensive product, obviously, and I was asked to say, ma'am, I want a replacement for this. And I looked at it like this, and I said, okay, let me just check. So I sent it to the counter. I asked the person concerned, what is this? So he said that, ma'am, ये जब हमारे पास आया था, तो वो थोड़ा सा ऐसे था, but वो कस्टमर को पसंद आया, वो ले गए, and now they are come back with it, तो आप कॉल ले लीजिए. I said, okay, fine. There and there we put it back, and we used to provide credit notes, right, sir? So we provide a credit note for the entire amount, which means the customer goes back and can shop anything in the store. It may not be a jewelry piece. It could be a perfume, it could be an outfit, it could be anything. So the question here is कि ये brand का profit या जब भी आपने ये बेचा था, how can you just give it and take it and now allow the customer to sell anything? So we were empowered to say we stand for what we sell. Am I right, sir? So that was the thing. We were given that right to say, ki, and we were. I am this beginning, sir. We were not at a
How old were you then? How
18,
old?
18 years old.
So to me, I think that is, I mean, that's live. I didn't even know, but I can give you multiple examples. We can spend the whole day giving you examples.
Yeah.
around
So
this.
that is.
I think that
give a
is,
shout
that to me is a real empowerment. And I would only suggest, and we had a policy. The policy was anything to do with the customer, okay, should never come to the head office. It has to be closed at the store. Because the moment the customer knows there's somebody above, he stops respecting the team. Okay, the customer should know, ki, I buy from here, this is where it gets closed. I think that's a fabulous thing to do. Because when you're running a chain store, I mean, you can't be there everywhere. And that's a challenge. Yeah.
Shopper Stop taught us many things. In fact, I also learned many new things, many concepts. One of the concept was measuring the productivity, sales per square feet, employees per square feet, and your people used to throw jargon, GM ROF. I said, what is this GM ROF? Gross margin return on footage. क्या क्या अब दिमाग का दही बना देते. So things have changed quite a bit. Now there is a school of thought, and it's not just a school of thought, but people are actually talking about it and implementing it, in which is measuring consumer experiences. For example, Richa knows that there is a guy in Canada, his name is Doug Stephens. He says you should measure the success of a store based on happiness per square feet, experiences per square feet. And what he says is, a store is not a distribution of product channel. It is a channel of distributing happiness. And I think Titan also says, and you have also said it in the book, that Titan says that no matter if a consumer comes in the store, he buys something, or you also said that even if he doesn't walk out with a bag in his hand, he should be happy. This is easier said than done. See, if you talk about, see Tanishq, that franchise is breathing down the neck, अरे यार बिल बनवाओ उसको motivate करो. And in your case it was even more difficult because consumer will come back and buy a product, but he may not buy it from your store, and you are just a distribution channel because Levi's or they are available elsewhere. So ये consumer experience किस चिड़िया का नाम है और आप उसको कैसे describe कर सकते हो, and what is Shopper Stop doing it, because things have evolved since then.
See, what Shoppers is doing in the last 10 years, 15 years, currently year, I don't want to get into that comment. But I think the biggest measure of consumer experience is a returning customer. As simple as a returning customer. I mean, your index may show that it is 9 on 10, but she doesn't come back to your store. That experience, you can keep it in the pocket. It doesn't make. And therefore, it's important for you to look at how many customers repeat and come back. Yeah. One of the measures that we had was that you know that it's the largest loyalty program that Shoppers run.
FCC.
First Citizen, 73% of the business comes from known customers, and every quarter 28% of them return, okay, come back and they are regular shopping. So to me that is one reason, because unhappy customer will never come back to you. They have many choices then, and even today they have many choices. So that's the best way to measure. But long time back, for almost 8-10 years, we had 3 indexes that we used to have. It is there on the annual report, it used to be there. We used to measure employee satisfaction, vendor satisfaction, and customer satisfaction. And we had documentary evidence to prove that only when a vendor is satisfied and an employee is satisfied can your customer be satisfied. It's absolutely documentary evidence. Okay, so the moment you look at a vendor as an opponent, okay, there is a problem. Your vendor, I mean, all of you who put your stalls, okay, they should be partners to the retailers on the same side of the table with the customers being on the opposite side. It works beautifully. So if you don't nurture your employees and partners, you may say whatever you want. You can't create happiness, you can't create experience for the customer. And I think that is very, very critical.
So in the context of our industry, see, GJPC, the credit of GJPC is the IIJ show is the second largest in the world, Hong Kong being the largest. And by August, IIJS will become the largest trade show for jewelry in the world. And credit goes to Nirav and all previous team members. So I would like Nirav to share his thoughts. What is the experience? In this case, it is a B2B experience. So ultimately, a B2B is also a consumer experience. So if you can elaborate a little bit on how you have created the consumers.
So I'll just give you my example.
Okay.
So I was a convener even in 2010 for 4 years. Then I went to Dubai and I joined again in 2022. And I've also been an exhibitor over here for all these 25 years. The first thing when I came and I sat with my team, we just said that we want to make the experience of the exhibitors and visitors good. Forget everything else. So we just sat, we had a brainstorming session. We said, what are the challenges that people are facing? And then we came down to just basic 3 or 4 problems. So one was entering the hall. It used to take a lot of time. One was cleanliness. One was the time when they would come in and the booths would not be ready and the things would be happening. And we just took 3 of these challenges. And the first year we just worked on these 3 challenges. And the first show that I did over here, and it was seamless, there was no waiting outside. We changed some parameters and systems of how people had to go through multiple checks. We made only 1 check at the entrance. Cleanliness staff, we doubled, almost tripled the cleanliness staff. And we said that we just want everything spick and span. And we motivated and we worked with our vendor partners who are creating these things. We gave them some deadlines, some incentives, and we worked together with them to see how easily it could be done. And the first show we did, there was no delays, there was no waiting, and everything was pick and span. And I don't think we did anything more. But the whole euphoria of the people was that the show is a super success. And the business just suddenly became better because they didn't have any bad experience coming into the show. They were wasting, otherwise they would come, we would all come, "Arey, 1 ghanta bahar line mein khada hai." The mood was only disturbed, the customer is waiting in the line. So we just solved these 3 things and the whole thing became better. So this
Actually, you know what he did? I think this is one of the biggest lessons for leadership. They listened to their customers. Your whole success was because of only this. You listened to your customers because they told you these are the 3 issues. अगर आप मैं चेयरमैन हूँ करके आप अपने कुर्सी पे बैठे होते उनकी सुनते नहीं तो you won't be able to do this. I think that's a very, very important part of listening to the customers. And I must share this. I was once doing a similar kind of a session with Mr. Narayan Murthy of Infosys. I asked him this question that you have taken the IT world to this height. How does Narayan Murthy improve? See, when a company grows, the leader also keeps going up. 500 crore की company की जगह आप 5000 crore की company चला रहे हो. So he gave me only one example and he says, Nagesh, as leaders, we have stopped taking feedback. And he says, I go to every associate of mine, every employee leaders and ask them to say, tell me what can I do to improve myself? And he says, that's the thing. So your biggest lesson in this that I learned from you is, you listen to your customers and you solve 3 of their problems and you're such a big success. Yeah, wonderful.
So in your book, there is a specific example that Shoppers Stop has some private labels, Live, Fratini, Stop. There is a very nice example where it's about sustainability. You used to distribute neem seeds to the consumers, hoping that they will plant more trees. So I would like to add here that jewelry industry is far ahead. So I think IIJ show they have a plan of making it carbon neutral in the next 5 years or so. Nirav will tell you more about it. But in the context of the apparel and fashion industry, most polluting, everybody knows. 20% of the pollution is caused by fast fashion. So I was reading a very interesting book by the founder of Patagonia. So what Patagonia did was, he said, "Hey, I want to reduce the carbon emission. I want to make the world a better place to live in." So he advertised in the ad, "Don't buy this jacket because it is adding to pollution." He, for the first time, started selling fabric, dresses which were recycled, altered, and all that. His company every year contributes 1%. They call it earth tax, and it is not linked to profits. 1% of annual sales goes to sustainability cause. So there is a lot which can be done, not only by Shoppers Stop, but ride, train, and now I would like Nirav to give an example of our industry. How many minutes we have now? Please.
So I'll just give you two examples. One is, again, when I came onto this thing, the same thing was bothering me about the show and what we were doing and how we can make. So we started this One Earth initiative where I really worked with few NGOs to find out the cost of planting a tree and the benefits of it. And then we linked that program with our visitors, exhibitors, our vendors also, people who are making these booths, they're setting up these things. They all became partners in it. And today they are all contributing something towards planting of trees.
Wow.
Each tree, even I didn't know, but it has a life of 20 years. And we are planting all fruit-bearing trees in marginal farmer's place. And they give in his lifetime fruits worth 5,000 rupees to a farmer. And up till now, IIGS, with our vendor partners, customers, exhibitors, retailers, we have planted over 150,000 trees.
Wow.
Now, if you see this and multiply this, every year we'll keep doing this, and then 10-year cycle, 5,000 rupees. I think up till now, this must have already generated future revenues of 100 crores to the farmers, but this will go into thousands of crores. Second thing we did is now this electric show that we are sitting in, this is right now running on green energy. We have stopped use of conventional energy over here.
Wow.
It's only green energy. You go to the bathrooms, you will not find tissue papers over there. We have removed papers. This year we have removed all the flex prints. We are going for cloth-based printing. By 2030, we are doing the study because it's a complex study of how many people travel, flights, all that. But we want to go towards 100% carbon neutrality on this thing.
Fabulous.
But again, in jewelry, I just read about one company. It's called Pandora. And that's the first company that has made a commitment that whatever gold they will use, it will be 100% recycled gold. They will not be using mined gold. It took them some 6-7 years to reach that. But today it's a very big company. It's like a few $billion turnover. But they have been able to manage across their supply chain only use of sustainable gold, the recycled gold. So I think there's a lot that we all can do as an industry, and it's our moral commitment and it's our obligation that we look after this. So I hope, I'm sure everybody is doing, but we should also be doing this.
Wonderful.
So we are running out of time, but our conversation will not, 1 minute. Our conversation cannot end unless we discuss his passion project, which is train. तो सर आपकी ट्रेन किस रफ्तार से दौड़ रही है? क्योंकि देखो अभी तो वंदे भारत का ज़माना है और बुलेट ट्रेन बहुत जल्द आने वाली है. तो इसके बारे में बताइए एक चीज़. बट लेकिन आपको मैं एक बधाई भी देना चाहता हूँ. Because he conceptualized a very nice concept, RED, Retail Employees Day. And the first ad which was released, it said, "Thank you, bola kya?" So most of the hard work in retail is done by the sales associates, and we forget him. So, but today what we see is that many people are celebrating Retail Employees Day. So with that, I would invite your views. आपकी क्या रफ्तार से चल रहे हो? And then Richa, you continue.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, there in my book also, my father influenced me, and I don't know how this hit me once, saying that I'll step out at the age of 50 and not do anything which is for profit or anything operational. I call it as 25 years of learning, 25 years of earning, and 25 years of returning. My wife thinks that at 75 I'll die. That's not the thing. I'll have another 25 years of fun, I don't know what. So at the age of 50, I stepped out and started this trust called Trust for Retailers and Retail Associates of India. I strongly believe that we as manufacturers, retailers, we have been very unfair to our front-end associates. Very unfair. Yeah? I mean, disproportionately unfair. So even if you look at companies which have got listed, okay, we are also a listed entity. So we have this challenge. So I went into the market and looked at all of them and asked them multiple questions. 4 statements struck me in a very, very bad way, which I wanted to convert it into a good. The first statement was, हम सोसाइटी में बोलते नहीं हैं कि दुकानों में काम करते हैं. It was pride. The second statement was, पढ़े लिखे नहीं है इसलिए इज्जत नहीं है. Respect. The third statement was, सोसाइटी के लिए काम करते हैं but सोसाइटी हमको अपना नहीं मानती. Inclusion. And the fourth statement was, पढ़े लिखे नहीं है कोई पढ़ाता नहीं आगे कैसे बढ़ेंगे. Development. So we just picked up these 4 and we said we'll work for each one of these through the life, whatever life I have. So for pride we said Diwali, Christmas, Eid, New Year's, the best day for the world is the worst day for the retail. I mean on Diwali day the world is celebrating, you are at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock doing stock taking. So I said can we create a day which is meant for the retail employees, and just picked up a day 12th December and said let's celebrate 12th December as a retail employees day. So Nirav, what it started in 2011 with just a few thousand employees. Last year, 2024, we had 20 million people celebrating in 33 countries. Yeah, it's become a very, very big event. I mean, through this forum, I'll only ask you to say if you can encourage all your manufacturers and brands to go to the retailers, okay, and actually celebrate the day. Kuch mat karo, jaake thank you bol ke aao. And this year, for the first time, it happened. The managing director of Marico, he went into the Kiranas this year and thank them for helping the Marico grow. It is a small gesture, kuch nahi gaya, ek paisa kharcha nahi hua. But it has made such a big difference to the community. One day in a year. Why should we say thank you one day? They are the people who make us. We should say thank you every day, every minute. Okay, but so that's become very big. Second is a reward that we do for customer service, which is again called global. I mean, we have had it in Rome, in Toronto, in Tokyo, in Dubai. We recognize people with great customer service. The third is inclusion, which is a flagship project. We skill persons with disability, both orthopedically challenged and deaf and mute, SHI. We skill them and get them jobs in retail. Over the last 10 years, we started with just 22 employees in the first year. This year, we'll skill about 8,500 employees. Cumulatively, we have done about 52,000 employees. And 73% of them, we get them jobs in retail. They come from families where family income is 12,000, 13,000. They get a job of 13, 15,000. The family income doubles. It's an amazing outcome that we see of there. And I must tell you that no retailer is employing them because of sympathy. They are better performers. Their productivity is higher. If you want, you can go to Seeps and ask Julex. Okay, he employs a full section of deaf. And he tells me the highest productivity in manufacturing and diamond setting is coming from deaf. I mean, today your industry can actually absorb every such people in the country. And you will do a human service if you actually do that. So that's the third project we do. And the fourth, of course, is we're developing various tools and ways for the employees to learn and grow in life. So pride, respect, inclusion, development, this is what we do. If all my life I do this, and kis raftar se, kisi bhi raftar se main jaun, I don't think we will achieve even 1% change in this country. 1%. There are 26 million persons with disability. कुछ भी कर लेंगे तो शायद 1 million हो जाएगा. It's a big task. So अगर सब लोग साथ मिलके करेंगे तो शायद हो जाएगा. My dream is that one day, that 1 billion retail employees in the world. You know this 8 billion people, there are 1 billion retail employees in the world. 1/10 are retailers. Okay, one day they should celebrate this event because they deserve. Yeah, they deserve. I mean, आप भी मेहनत करते हो, आप भी घर रात को 11 बजे जाते होगे, आपको भी झाड़ा पड़ता होगा. So you should also be told, boss, thank you for what you do. I think it's something that we all have to do together.
Great.
So we will of course have a few questions, but let me sum it up and end it on a very positive note. Nagesh doesn't want to retire. He has said it in his book. He wants to do different things. तो आपकी शान में एक शेर याद आता है, अल्लामा इकबाल साहब का. सितारों से आगे जहां और भी है, अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी हैं। तू शाहीन है, शाहीन इज अ रॉयल बर्ड। तू शाहीन है, परवाज है काम तेरा, परवाज इज फ्लाइट, उड़ान। तू शाहीन है, परवाज है काम तेरा, तेरे आगे आसमां और भी है। That's about it.
Thank you so much.
So anybody wants to
Thank
ask
you.
a question, please
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something. Since we started with the pledge, thank you so much. Um, I remember Nagesh and I, we did Zoom calls for 3, 4 months and accumulating data and content. And the whole thing was how do we narrow down, how do we distill, how do we cull out the actual essence of Shopper's Stop? Because there were so many firsts, there were so many beautiful incidents that how does one do justice to what Nagesh and Shopper's Stop has brought to India as in modern retail. So that was a huge challenge, but what wasn't was starting the book with the pledge. Because when he said we have a pledge for Shopper's Stop, I thought I heard it wrong. So I asked him, pledge. He said, yes, we have a pledge. So they actually have a pledge, and the book starts with the pledge. And when I heard it for the first time, I got goosebumps, and I was crying, and I got emotional even now. So that is what doing business with a humane approach does, and that is what serve is all about. Thank you.
So sadly, we don't really have time for questions, but
Ask 2, 3 questions.
yes,
Yeah, please. People are waiting.
all right.
Let's see.
Courtesy, Nirav bhai. Thank you so much, sir. Any questions from the audience? Yes, sir.
Richa had something to say.
Nagesh sir, it was a wonderful listening to you. Since we are in a jewelry exhibition, it's an obvious question to ask you, which is the jewelry brand you admire? Because many have come across Shoppers Stop, but which is personally has been your favorite?
So I would say there are two brands. One, he is not here, but please convey to him that I appreciated him. Yeah, is Jilly. See, because I believe that it's very easy to bring a brand in a category which is established. But to open a category, you require a huge heart. I was telling Anil also, ये लैब डायमंड तभी बनेगा जब आप लोग मिल के इसको ग्रो करोगे. अगर आप लोग ये सोचोगे मैं अपना ब्रांड ग्रो करूंगा तो ग्रो नहीं होने वाला है. Okay, he did that, and I have history of what we discussed and how it happened. So I would say that's one brand, and the second is of course Tanishq, because that's where my wife shops. I haven't been to many jewelry shops, but other jewelry shop where I have been to with her is Krishna Chetty and Sons in Bangalore.
CKC.
CKC, and I've admired what Vinod and team does. But in that connection, I have two suggestions for the industry, if I may. Yeah? See, one is I feel that we have to learn to collaborate with competitors. Okay, it may look very strange. You are willing to be next to a counter of competitor within Shoppers Stop. You are willing to have a shop next to each other within the mall. What stops you all starting a multi-brand jewelry business? Why are you going, sorry, I'm saying this, why are you going to outside? I mean, 10 brands get together, your costs will come down, your productivity will go up. Okay, this business is starting, if he starts, I have a share in that, yeah? Okay. Now, that is very, very important. So to me, ability to collaborate within the business, I think, is extremely, extremely critical. And second, I said is, see how you can really build the category, because without the category, it will not happen, yeah? And the last I would say is that your industry is one of the few industries which runs into generations, okay? Please keep track of your brand, because this is one industry where I'm seeing, because it is generational, okay, in the second to third generation, it all works towards destroying the brand created by the first and second generation, because the family is split and nobody wants to give away his grandfather's name. Okay, so I'm giving this example, and I may be very derogatory, I'm sorry for it, but one day you may find your generational brand becoming like a Maganlal Chikkiwala. I mean, you go to Lonavala, there are 500 Maganlal Chikkiwala.
Correct.
I mean, a brand like Krishna Chetty, and it is in public. I mean, he has a problem with his own estranged family. One more Krishna Chetty next to his shop. I mean, a brand created over 100 years. So I'm saying generations of today have to think about what will the brand be next year to next year. And this should be really, really thought through. Because this is our India's wealth, national wealth. Okay, we have to be very cautious about it. And this will typically happen in the jewelry business because this has still remained very generational. Not many businesses have gone generational like what you all have done.
Thank you, sir.
One last question.
I feel I'm very lucky to see you in person. I'm from a very small place in Karnataka, from Shumoga. I was in business with my dad when I was from a small child also. We were into metal business. We were into copper, brass, steel and everything. I used to sit with my dad. So whenever we used to get a demand for particular items, we never used to have that in our store. We had to source it and then give it to them. So probably when I was in a high school, probably then I was thinking why won't we come out with a store wherein we can have all the products in one store? When I was in college and when I visited Bangalore for the first time in 98, 99, when I saw Shoppers Stop, I was so much inspired and I was so much, from that time I was following Shoppers Stop. Even now I'm a regular customer to Shoppers Stop. Probably every coupon we get it from Shoppers Stop. Whatever vouchers, I take it for Shoppers Stop voucher only. So that if I don't get one particular product, there are so many other products which I can redeem to that coupons. I feel really blessed to see you today, sir.
Thank you.
Well, with that, I think we would come to the end, but I'm going to encourage everyone. If you would like to pull out most of the session, I think you could grab your hands over the book that says so and feel the experience while you read.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So the books are available for sale. There's a counter put up by Crossword. You can please go ahead and place your orders.
I'm going to request you, sir, to stay there, Nirav bhai, for this felicitation, please.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Overwhelming.
Thank you very much. Thank you.